Have you ever caught yourself wondering, what's the meaning of life? Why are we even here? It's one of those big questions that everyone thinks about at some point. Maybe you believe in God, or maybe you put your faith in science, or perhaps you don't believe in anything at all. But what if I told you there are a ton of different ways people make sense of life? Let's dive into some of them, and who knows, maybe one of these will click with you. Theism. Theism is the belief in one or more gods who are involved in the creation and governance of the universe. Theists believe that life has a divine purpose, often derived from religious texts like the Bible, Quran, or Vedas. These texts are seen as sacred revelations from God and form the basis of moral and spiritual guidance for believers. Theism has deep roots in human history, influencing cultures, laws, and personal beliefs across the world. Atheism. Atheism is the absence of belief in gods or deities. Atheists often rely on scientific explanations for the origin of the universe and life, finding meaning in human experience rather than divine intervention. This perspective is informed by philosophical reasoning and scientific inquiry, such as the works of Richard Dawkins or the principles of naturalism. Atheism encourages individuals to create their own purpose and meaning in life, without reliance on supernatural beliefs. Agnosticism. Agnosticism is the view that the existence of God or the divine is unknown or unknowable. Agnostics maintain that human knowledge is limited and that the truth about the divine may be beyond our understanding. This belief is grounded in philosophical skepticism, influenced by thinkers like Thomas Huxley and Immanuel Kant, who questioned the limits of human knowledge. Agnostics often live with uncertainty, focusing on the pursuit of knowledge and ethical living without committing to a specific religious belief. Nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that life has no inherent meaning or value. Nihilists argue that traditional beliefs, values, and moral systems are unfounded and that existence is ultimately meaningless. This philosophy is often associated with Friedrich Nietzsche, though it has roots in ancient skepticism. Nihilism can be challenging to confront as it rejects the idea of a higher purpose, leaving individuals to grapple with the concept of a meaningless existence. Existentialism. Existentialism is the belief that individuals must create their own meaning in life, as there is no preordained purpose. This philosophy emphasizes personal responsibility, freedom, and the authenticity of choices. Existentialism was popularized by philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Søren Kierkegaard, who argued that life's meaning is not given but must be actively pursued by each person. This belief encourages introspection and the acceptance of life's inherent uncertainties. Absurdism. Absurdism is the belief that there is a conflict between humans' desire to find meaning in life and the indifferent, chaotic nature of the universe. Absurdists, like Albert Camus, argue that this clash leads to the realization that life is absurd, but instead of succumbing to despair, one should embrace the absurdity and continue to seek meaning. Absurdism shares similarities with existentialism, but focuses more on the inherent conflict between human nature and the universe's lack of meaning. Humanism. Humanism is a belief system that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings individually and collectively. Humanists focus on human welfare, reason, and ethics, often rejecting supernatural explanations. This belief has roots in the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, influenced by thinkers like Erasmus and Voltaire. Humanism promotes the idea that humans can create meaning and purpose through education, empathy, and the betterment of society. Optimism. Optimism is the belief that life is generally good, or that it can be made better through positive thinking and actions. Optimists focus on the potential for growth, happiness, and improvement in life, often influenced by philosophical and psychological theories like those of Martin Seligman, who developed positive psychology. This belief encourages a hopeful outlook on life, believing that even in the face of challenges, things can and will improve. Pessimism. Pessimism is the belief that life is full of hardships and that suffering is inevitable. Pessimists often view the world through a lens of skepticism and doubt, influenced by thinkers like Arthur Schopenhauer, who argued that life is primarily a struggle filled with pain. Pessimism can be a coping mechanism, preparing individuals for the worst, but it can also lead to a more negative view of life and its possibilities. Stoicism. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means to overcome destructive emotions. Stoics believe that by focusing on what can be controlled and accepting what cannot, one can achieve tranquility and wisdom. This belief is grounded in the teachings of ancient philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, who advocated for living in accordance with nature and reason. Buddhism. Buddhism is a spiritual tradition that focuses on personal spiritual development and the attainment of a deep insight into the true nature of life. Buddhists believe in the Four Noble Truths, which teach that life is suffering, and the way to end suffering is through the Eightfold Path. Founded by Siddhartha Gautama, Buddhism emphasizes meditation, mindfulness, and ethical conduct as paths to enlightenment and the end of suffering. Taoism. Taoism is a philosophical and religious tradition that emphasizes living in harmony with the Tao, which is the fundamental nature of the universe. Taoists believe in following the natural flow of life, embracing simplicity, spontaneity, and humility. The teachings of Laozi and Zhuangzi, found in texts like the Tao Te Ching, form the basis of Taoism, promoting a life of balance and harmony with the natural world. Utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is an ethical theory that advocates for actions that maximize happiness or well-being for the greatest number of people. Founded by Jeremy Bentham and further developed by John Stuart Mill, utilitarianism is based on the idea that the moral worth of an action is determined by its outcome. This belief encourages practical decision-making that considers the consequences of actions on the overall well-being of society. Materialism. Materialism is the belief that only physical matter exists and that all phenomena, including consciousness, are the result of material interactions. Materialists reject the existence of spiritual or supernatural entities, focusing on the tangible, measurable aspects of life. This belief is grounded in scientific inquiry and philosophical naturalism, with roots in the works of ancient philosophers like Democritus and modern thinkers like Karl Marx. Spiritualism. Spiritualism is the belief that there is a spiritual dimension to life that is just as real as the physical world. Spiritualists often believe in the existence of spirits, the afterlife, and the possibility of communication with the dead. This belief system became popular in the 19th century, influenced by movements like Theosophy and the work of mediums and spiritualists who claim to connect with the spirit world. Did I mention what you believe in, or do you have a different belief?